So we are going to start the JavaScript. This concept is already covered. I covered in depth each and every concept so earlier, but this time we are going to discuss all the concept related to JavaScript and which we are using in the LWC development. But if we have a strong basic knowledge on the JavaScript, uh, so it's very easy to develop the LWC components also. Yeah, so that is the reason. So we are going to discuss all the concept related to the LWC. Okay. Yeah. So first of all, and I am going to cover in the Salesforce developer in interview. So they are asking JavaScript questions also. So I am going to cover the interview point of question also. So first of all, let me so just create a folder in your system. Okay. So after that, so just I'm going to create a HTML file. So create the file with the extension HTML. So in HTML, so if you want to generate the boilerplate code, just type the exclamation and press enter. So it will generate the boilerplate code, default code, right? Yeah. So next here I am going to generate the uh, creating the file extension with the .js. Okay. So I want to link the JS file to the HTML file, right? Here we have a script tag, right? In the script tag, we have a src. So here just mention so index.js. Okay. So just I am using heading tag. So JS crash course. Okay. Yeah. So if you want to yeah, if you want to run this HTML file, so what you need to do? So we have a live server extension, right? You need to install this live server extension. Yeah, this is the live server extension. Okay, you need to install this extension. So after that, you need to right click it. You see, you need to select this option open with the live server. Okay, so automatically it's open, right? You see, and if you see here, someone is yeah, okay. So after that, you see, just if you want to log a value or a message in the JavaScript, so we have a console.log, right? You see console.log. Just here I am putting some message, right? Yeah. So here also we can run the JavaScript individually, but if you want to see the output in the dev console, you see here, right click, inspect it, right? Go to the console, you see here also we can see the output. Okay. So JavaScript is linked with the HTML. Let's say if you want to run this JavaScript individually, so what you need to do here, we have another extension that is nothing but code runner. So you can install this extension. So once installation is done, here you will see the icon and you see right. Yeah. So if you run this, you see here also you can see the output. Yeah, either way you can uh, run the JavaScript. You can run the JavaScript individually. You can run the JavaScript with the HTML file. When you run the JavaScript with the HTML file, if you want to see the output, you need to inspect this web page, go to the console, and here we will see the output. Right? Yeah. So if you want to run the JavaScript also, so if you have a Node.js, right? So we can run with Node.js also. So how we need to run with the Node.js? Simple node. So index.js. Sorry, my bad. Uh, node index.js. Okay, you see here also we can see multiple ways we can run the javascript file, right? And if you don't want to do locally, so if you go here Google, okay, so search it online js editor, right? Yeah, you see, this is the online editor. Here also you can type a program instantly, you can run and instantly you can see multiple ways we can run a javascript thing. Okay, yeah. So here I configure the html and index.js file. Okay, yeah, first of all before starting the javascript, right? So what is a javascript, right? So in the real world we have so many languages, so now we are talking about the only javascript. What is the javascript, where we can use the javascript? So then interview, if you face any interview, whether it is a web development or front end interview, whether Salesforce developer interview also, they will ask you, the first they start with the basic questions. Yeah, so what is a javascript? So most of the people will give the answer, but it's a pretty straightforward thing, right? Yeah. So is JavaScript is single threaded, right? Single threaded. It will run in the client side. What is JavaScript? JavaScript is a single threaded, right? So it will run in the client side only. In the client side, in the sense where it will run. Client side in the sense browser, right? We have a browser, right? So we have a different kinds of browser. So we have a Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer, Safari, right? A lot of browsers are there. Every browser having the engine. So if you take the Firefox, they are using the JavaScript engine is Chakra, I think. But if you use the Google Chrome browser, they are using the JavaScript engine V8 engine, right? So it will reside inside the browser. So it is an internal thing. So it's not visible. So whenever the web page is loaded in the client side, so automatically the JavaScript will engine execute the JavaScript file. So engine has a architecture. Okay. So I will explain that internals and thing in the next week session. Just okay, in depth. That is the in depth concept how JavaScript engine works or everything. But as of now, nothing to worry. So just JavaScript is a single threaded. Okay, it will run on the client side, right? Client side in the sense browser side. Yeah. So to confuse you, is the JavaScript will run on server side also? Anyone have idea about this? Is JavaScript will run on the client side only, or it will run on the server side only? Any idea about this thing?
Mostly it's client side only.
Mostly client side only. Any other, if you know, is the JavaScript will run in the client side only, or we can use this JavaScript in server side also?
Client side only, sir.
Yeah, client side only. Yeah, you see, yeah. So, but so this is not a correct answer. So JavaScript will run in server side also. So we can develop server side applications also by using the JavaScript. Yeah, how it is possible, right? So if you want to develop the API, if you want to develop the server side applications, so we can use the Node.js, right? So Node.js, by using the Node.js, and in the Node.js, so we can write server side applications also. Server side applications, if you see the Netflix, they used the Node.js. It will handle the millions of requests. Yeah. If you want to develop the server side applications also, we can use the JavaScript. Okay, but explain these things later. As of now, nothing to worry. Just you need to tell JavaScript is a single-threaded programming language, so which is used to, okay, to provide dynamic user interfaces, dynamic interactions in the client side. Okay, yeah. So JavaScript will run in the server side also. So in the Node.js, we will write the JavaScript code. We can develop the uh, different kinds of applications also. But this, so now the question to you: what is a single thread, right? So you see in the real world, most of the servers are single threaded or multi-threaded.
Multi.
Yeah, multi-threaded. Yeah, Salesforce is also multi-threaded, right? Yeah, most of the servers are multi-threaded. Why multi-threaded? Yeah, millions people will request at a time, right? But we need to handle those requests, right, without the time delay. For every request, it will create a thread in the server. Yeah, so it will handle millions of requests. Yeah, so multi-threaded. But you see, we are talking about the JavaScript. It will run in the client side. It's a single threaded, right? So how it is single threaded means, so here I will show you this thing. You see, so I have written the code, right? So here I am writing one more statement. Okay, something one. Let me copy, right? This is the two, right? And this is the three. Yeah, just I'm printing. Okay, so when I run this program, you see here I'm running. Let me clear the terminal. Let me go to the output, clear the output, and let me run it. You see, the first it is executed first this line, second it is executed this thing, and so one by one, right? So how it is happening? It's a single threaded means. So here it is executing the line by line. First it will execute the first line. If it is okay, then it okay the cursor moves to the next line. So until end of the program. Okay, it's a single threaded, man, a single threaded. Okay, so here JavaScript is using the single threading. So that is the reason it will execute the code line by line. First it will execute the first line, second it will execute the second line, third it will execute and this line, right? So that is the reason JavaScript is a single threaded programming language. Okay, just a simple definition. If the interviewer they ask is the JavaScript is used in the server side also, yes, so we can use the server side also. So in the server side we can use the in the Node.js we can write the JavaScript code. Okay, here it's a Node.js is nothing but if you see the definition of the Node.js, you see Node.js, you see we can run the JavaScript in the server side also. You see earlier we can run the JavaScript in the client side also, browser only. But the Node.js guy who developed the Node.js, what he did is, you see JavaScript runtime environment. He captured the engine. It means he derived the engine code from the browser. Browser having the engine, right? JavaScript engine. Uh, okay, that guy derived the code of the uh, JavaScript engine. Okay, and he embedded that code with the C++. I think if you go in depth, yeah, C++ something, and he developed the Node.js. You see, Node.js is it's a free and it's open source. It's a cross-platform. You can run in any platform, either it may be a Windows or a Mac or any other platform, Linux. So we can run the JavaScript code in the servers also. So you see, by using the Node.js, we can create the server, right? Yeah, you see, we can create web apps also. A lot we can do. So how it is possible, right? So because of he captured the JavaScript engine code, he embedded that code in with the C++, and he developed the Node.js. Okay, so in the Node.js, what we can do is also we can create a server. Okay, it means server can take multiple requests, right? That kind of servers we can create with the Node.js also. We can develop the web applications also. So we can do lot. So by using the JavaScript. So it's a in the server side earlier we cannot run the javascript will be executed in the browser only, right? Yeah, you see, javascript will be executed in the browser only. You see, this is the browser, right? We inspected, right? Here also we can write a program without any editor. You see, I have created the variable, right? When I print a, you see, here also I am able to see the data. We can write the programs here also in the console also. It will execute on the client side only, but whenever the Node.js is introduced, so he captured the JavaScript engine. He derived the engine from the browser. So V8 engine is the popular engine, Chrome. Okay, so he captured that code and he embedded with this code with the C++ or something. Because why I'm saying that in the it's a capable of creating the servers. Yeah, so he provided this framework Node.js. By using the Node.js, we can run the JavaScript code also. So what we will do in the Node.js, we will create a web applications. We can do a lot. We can create a servers also. It's a different topic, but so if you want to become a master in the LWC, but Java client side JavaScript is not needed only. We don't need to go with the uh, server side JS. It is also similar to the client side JS only, but yeah, if you want to uh, Node the Node.js also in the going forward, I will take the session of the Node.js also. So because for this as a Salesforce developer, uh, we need to learn the Node.js also. But yeah, going forward, I will take the sessions for Node.js also. As of now, I will start with the JavaScript, right? Yeah. So already told you, right? JavaScript is a single threaded, means it will execute line by line. Okay. So it's a crash course, right? I don't want to talk about the theory, uh, just practical implementation. First, let's start with the variables. Okay, I am creating one JS file, variables.js. Yeah, we already know, right, if you take any programming language, some common things are available. Common things are available in all the programming languages. Let's say if you take the functional programming, if you take the object-oriented programming, in the real world, lot of programming languages are available, right? All the programmings, what we will do, we will create a variables, right? The way it's a basic thing, right? So in the Apex, we will create a variables. In the Java, we will create a variables. In the Python, so if you take any programming, this is the some of the common concepts are there, but syntaxes are little bit different. So you don't need worry about the syntaxes because the syntaxes are available in the Google, but we should worry about the logic. So when we got a problem, when we got a requirement, so how we need to provide the solution, how we need to implement the solution with the following with the best practices. Yeah, most of the developers are worried about the syntax. Nothing worried about. You don't need to remember and everything the syntax. Syntax is available in the Google, and if you use the AI tool, syntax is also available in the VS Code also. Let's say I need a for loop, right? You see, you will get the syntax. You don't need worry about the syntax. So as a developer, we should worry about the business logic implementation. It's very important, right? Yeah. So how we will create a variables before the modern JavaScript is 2015. The modern JavaScript is introduced in the 2015. Before the modern JavaScript, so JavaScript is a okay. It's a uh, dynamic typing, not statical typing. Statical typing means in the Apex you see what we will do. If you want to define an integer, here you need to define the data type, right? So integer, some x equals to that, right? the X data type is the integer. It's a statistical typing. You should define this variable data type, right? But dynamic typing means, so dynamically it will identify the data type. You don't need to define the data type. So in JavaScript is a, so dynamically typing programming language. Dynamic statical typed or dynamic typed. Dynamic typed in the sense, if you want to create a variable, you see earlier we are using the var. Var is a keyword. So if you want to create a variable name, right? Yeah, I am using the X. I am assigning the value. You see. Here I didn't define the data type, right? Dynamically it will identify this type. Okay. So this is called a dynamically type. So if you want to create a variable, so earlier we are using the var keyword, right? Yeah. If you want to print that value, right? You see, I am using the log. Just I am printing the X. You see, I am clearing the console. I am running this. You see, here it is print. Let's say if you want to find the type of this variable, right? So we have a type of operator, right? You see. So we have a type of X, right? This is the keyword available type of, so which will identify the type of the variable. You see, when I run this, you see the type is the number. In the var is, you see the variable I created X, right? Let's say here again I am creating the variable with the same name. Here I am giving the string, right? Yeah. Now what will happen in the X here? What it will show here? Any idea? So X, what we will see here? X. When I run this, you see it is printing the. Okay, it means it is overriding. So once we declare the variable, right? Okay, we can change the type also, because this is a dynamic typing, right? You see, so you don't need to again X. Earlier it is the type number. Now I have given is a string. You see, when I run this, it's type of string. Let's say after that, here you see, here I have given true, right? Now you see, when I run this, you see the type is the boolean. Okay, so var, okay, we can declare variable with the var keyword. Okay, so the variable when be reassigned, you see we are reassigning, right? Okay, you need to remember this thing by using the var keyword. So reassigning is possible. Okay, the interviewer will ask you this question in the var, the reassigning is possible or not. Yes, it's possible. We can reassign the value by using the var keyword. Okay, so reassigning with the and the redeclaration is also possible, right? So we redeclare the variable, right? The same name. So redeclaration is possible. Reassigning is also possible. Okay. So any doubts here? Any questions here?
No, sir.
Yeah, yeah. And you see, so coming to the var, right? Okay. Redeclaration possible. Okay. Reassign is also possible. Next, coming to the scope, right? Yeah. So if you talk about the scope, we have a block scope and we have a function scope, right? Yeah. So we need to know about the scope also. Scope is nothing but it talk about the lifetime, right? Here I declared the variable. Okay, so if you want to decide the variable lifetime, so whether it is the lifetime should be a block scope or lifetime should be a function scope, right? So if you talk about the block scope, so how we will define the block scope in the JavaScript. You see, this is the block scope. Yeah. How we will define the function scope, right? So we already know, right? How we will write the functions in the JavaScript. Function test followed the parentheses open and close. So we need to use the function keyword. Here you need to give the similar to the apex method. Just here we'll write a function followed with the name followed parentheses open, right? This is the function scope. This is the uh, block scope. Yeah. So in interview they will ask you where supports block scope or function scope. They will ask you in interview also. So we already discussed about the redeclaration is possible with the where keyword. Reassigning is also possible with the where keyword. Now we are discussing about the scope. We have two scopes, block scope and function scope. Block scope in the sense this is the block, right? Yeah. Function scope in the sense this is the function scope. Yeah. Let's discuss this thing. So let me comment this code. Yeah. So now you see what I am doing here. I am creating a function test, right? Here I am declaring the variable x equals to 100. Let's take some variable z, right? Here I am logging this value, right? Inside test, okay? Just I am printing the value, just z, okay? So this is the function. This is the this z having the function scope, okay? When I printing the z here, it's a function scope, right? Automatically it will display here, right? Let's say I'm trying to access this z variable outside of the function scope, right? Yeah, you see when I click the log, okay, I'm printing outside, right? Just now you guys tell me what will happen here. Is it going to print this z 100 value here, or it is going to print here only in the function scope only? Any idea? We are talking about the function scope, right? Yeah. So where support function scope or not? That the topic we are discussing. You see here where I declared in the function scope, right? Yeah. You see when I run this, okay. You see we got the error, right? Why we got the error? You see console.log outside jet we got the error. Why I got the error? You see if you observe the output here, reference error, jet is not defined. You see whenever you declared a variable with the var keyword in the function scope, if you try to access this variable out of the function, it won't support. You need to remember this point, okay? So var keyword support the function scope also, okay? You see the var keyword I declared inside the function, but I'm trying to access outside. You see I got the error, reference error, jet is not defined, because it is supporting the function scope, right? Make sense? Yeah. Now you see now the block scope, okay? In the block scope means already told you, right? Block scope in the sense this thing is the block scope, right? We'll write the if, right? And we will use the for loop, right? So this is called the block scope. Let's say here I am declaring the if, just by default I am giving the true, right? Here I declared the var keyword, okay, some str, right? Here I declared the uh, welcome. Now I am printing that value in the inside the block scope, and similarly I am trying to access this variable outside of the block scope also, okay? So this is the block scope. whenever we are declaring the variable with the var keyword in the function, it is called function scope. Whenever we are declaring the variable in the if conditions, while, for loops, it is the block scope. You need to remember this point. Yeah, now you guys tell me, this variable is declared with the var keyword. Is this variable accessed outside of this block or not? Any idea?
Yes, sir, it's access.
Yeah,
It's print.
you see here, if I run this, you see it is accessible because var keyword doesn't support the block scope. You see, var supports only functional scope. So here in the functional scope, when I try to access this variable, it is not accessed. But it supports the function scope. It doesn't support the block scope. You need to remember this point in interview. They will ask you for the var keyword redeclaration. Once again, I am repeating this. Redeclaration is possible, right? For the var keyword, reassign is possible. For the var keyword, okay, function scope supported. For var keyword, okay, block scope won't support it. Okay, so these things you need to keep this in mind. Okay, this is all about the var keyword. Okay, any questions related to the var keyword?
Sir, is there any global scope also?
Yeah, in the JavaScript, it's a global scope, right? Here I declared the var x is a global scope. If this variable can be accessible anywhere in the program, that is called the global scope. So if you declare a variable inside this function scope, if you declared variables if or for loops, while, it is the block scope. Okay. Any questions here? Can I move
Sir,
to the next
that
topic?
global variable that we wanted to print in using in a function block and we wanted to print there, is it possible to print it that
Yeah,
way?
if you see here, yeah, you see uh, here, one more thing I want to discuss about. You see here, I declared the variable jet 100, right? But if you see here also, what I will do here, I will declare the variable 300, right? Sorry, my bad. Yeah, so variable jet equals to 300. Yeah. You see, JavaScript engine will treat these two variables as the same or different. You guys tell me.
No, different.
It will treat as a single variable or different variable.
Different variable.
Different variable, because this jet is in the local scope. It means function scope. This jet is in the global scope, right? So you see, we can, you see here I am printing the jet also, right? Global scope. You see, when I run this, let me comment this code. Uh, okay, you see, when I run this code, you will see, yeah, I have written the function, right? We need to call the function, right, in the JavaScript. How we need to call the function? Just uh, in this way, right? Yeah, you see, local scope, function scope value is also displayed, global scope is also displayed. Okay, so
Yes.
yeah, so that is the global variable, but while doing the programming, don't give the same names. Okay, but uh, the global variable name is same, the function local variable is also same. We can access the global variable also, we can access this function scope variable also, but be careful while giving the variable names. Okay. uh, yeah, any questions related to the var? This is all about the var. So in interview also, redeclaration is possible. In the var, reassigning is possible. Function scope it supports, but block scope doesn't support. Okay, makes sense. Can I go with the next topic?
Shiva, can you explain that again? Log scope one. I missed that. Sorry.
Yeah. You see, global scope is like, but here I declared the variable, right? So in the JavaScript file, I declare the variable. So it's a global scope. Okay. So if you see here, we declared the variable with the same name, but I declared the variable in the function inside the function. It's a function scope. Okay, got it? We
Yeah.
can access the global variable anywhere. You can access inside the function also, inside the if also, we can access the global variable.
Okay.
Okay, got it?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Why I am saying that the global variable, you see, right? So I am attaching this index.js variables, right? What is variables.js, right? You see, when I go to the console, let me close this thing. You see, here inside the test jet is displayed. Inside the global scope is also displayed. You see in the console. Uh, Now you see I can access this variable, right? This jet variable in some other way also here also. You see window.jet. You see when I use the window.jet, you see I am able to print the jet also. Why it is happening means here window is a global object. This is a browser, right? Browser. So I will explain this thing with the in the DOM topic. Window is a default object. Global variables we can access with the window.jet also. Okay, yeah. Just for your understanding only, this is not required, but we should know, right? The main thing is the window. If I type the window, you see in the console, it's a object, right? It is providing the window information. Window information. This is the browser window, right? You see what is it is providing. You see this is the object. If you expand it, you will see lot of things. Who is providing this window object, right? Browser is providing. Chrome is providing this window object. Is it part of JavaScript? This window is part of JavaScript or not?
Yes, it's a global variable that you said.
No, no, it's not a global variable. Window is a object. You see curly braces.
Okay,
It's not a global variable. If you want to access the global variable, we will use the window dot variable name also.
okay.
It is. It
That,
is part of JavaScript
no, 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 no. It's a wrong. So guys, yeah, you see, it is part of the browser.
browser.
Browser is providing this window and everything, but JavaScript has a capability to use these things. Okay, but you need to keep this mind. Some concepts we are getting from the browser. Some concepts we are using the JavaScript, right? No. Java script will use the power of the browser. See, window is providing by the browser. The Google is providing all this thing object. If you want to access the DOM, right? So everything. But this is called the web API. We can call the web APIs. So web APIs are part of the browser, not the JavaScript. But we can utilize the power of this browser things in the JavaScript also. That is the reason JavaScript is gained the popularity. Okay, so window is a object. If you see, it is having lot of information. You see, they are providing lot of information. We can access this information also. You see, right? Main is the window, right? I am clearing the console. Now you see window dot, we have a document, you see, right? You see whenever I click the document, so this is the document. Window is nothing but entire whatever the HTML file is there, right? That is the your document. In the document you see this is the document, right? HTML file, this is the document, right? Yeah, so you see after that window dot, you see, okay, we can traverse multiple also. Okay, if you click it window, right? Window, you see, if I expand this object, right? Let me clear it, let me refresh it. Let me reopen it. Right click, inspect, go to the console. If I type the window, you see, window by default it is a function also. Here it will show a lot of things. You see window, right? Window is a object. You see document. So we can expand this thing also. So it will see a lot of information. We will get the information related to the window also. Okay, this is all about the where keyword. Okay, so next we are moving to the, okay, let me comment all the things. Okay, now we are moving to the another keyword. So in the modern JavaScript, modern JS, so which is introduced in 2015 or 16, I don't know exact year, but we can call it modern JavaScript. In the modern JavaScript, they introduced two keywords, let and const, okay, to declare variables. Okay, yeah. So first of all, let's take the let keyword. So, but don't use the where keyword in the LWC development. Yeah, so we need to use either let or const keyword. It's a modern JavaScript, right? We need to use the latest features, right? So latest trend, right? Yeah. So how we need to declare a variable? Similar to the where, you need to use the let keyword. You need to declare the variable name. You need to define the some value, right? I am logging this value, right? You see, I'm declare printing this X. Just instantly, I'm running this file. You see, I'm able to see the output. Yeah. So similar to the where, just you need to use the let keyword, right? Yeah. Now we are talking about reassign. Reassign is possible or not X. For the X, you see, I am giving sample. You see, it's a dynamic typing. We can change the this type also. It is earlier it is a number. Now I am assigning string value. You see, it's not a statical typing. But in the Apex, if you take the integer you have given the value, if you try to assign the string value, it will give the error because statically typed, right? We define that variable type should be the integer. If you try to give the string any other value, it will give the compile time error. But Apex is different. Apex is a compiled and interpreted programming language. First, it will do the compilation. After that, it will use the interpreter to run the program. But JavaScript is not like compiled and interpreted. It's a interpreted programming language. Interpreter in the sense we already know, right? It will execute the code line by line, right? It's a dynamic typing, right? We can change the variable type also. You see earlier it is that I am providing the value 100. Now I'm giving the string, right? Yeah, you see, if I run this, you see, uh, reassigning is also possible with the let variable, right? Yeah. Now what I am doing here, you see, redeclaration, right? Uh, what is redeclaration in the sense x equals to UC. I am doing this, right? Yeah, you see. But the where redeclaration is also possible. But the let reassigning is possible. I am trying to redeclaration. X already defined 100. Again, X I am defining with the sample, different data type, right? It's a thing. Let me run this program. You see, we got the error. Syntax error, identifier X has already been declared. Means let, okay, let won't support the redeclaration. Okay, got it? Where support the redeclaration, you see I redeclare, but you see X is already defined, the variable. You need to give the different name. Okay, make sense? Reassigning possible, redeclaration, uh, okay, it's not possible. Yeah, now function scope, right? Yeah, you see I am creating a one function test. Here I am declaring the variable, right? X some str. I am giving some value in the function scope. I am trying to access that variable str, right? And after that also I am trying to print outside of the function also. Just for our understanding, just I will give some message. Okay, uh, here I will give inside. Okay, now you see, my bad. Yeah. One second, let me clear the console, let me run it. You see, let, you see it support the function scope, because when I am trying to access the same variable outside of the function scope, it is not allowing, you see. But let's say you see, okay, here I have a variable with the same name. Hmm. Now you guys tell me what is the output here. You see str, it is in the function scope, str is in the global scope. Here I am printing the str, here also I am printing the str. Oh, what is the output here?
Inside for
I
welcome and
think
outside for test.
Inside is
Welcome.
welcome, here
Test.
yeah, it will take the global variable, right? Yeah, if the global variable is not available, right? So you see it will give the error. You see str is not defined, because this str is defined in the function scope. So in the function scope, let won't allow to get this value outside of the function scope. That is the reason we are getting the error. Okay, so how the javascript will check, right? So first it will try to print this str value. Just I'm trying, this str value is not available in the global scope. It will check the global scope is available or not. Then it will go to the this function scope, but this available str is available, but you see this is defined with the let keyword, but it supports the function scope. It won't allow get the outside, right? That is the reason here you will get the str is not define the error. Okay, uh, this let support the function scope. Okay, next, coming to the block scope, right? So we have a block scope. So what is the block scope? I already told you, right? If true, right? Here I am declaring one variable d equals to some 200. So I am trying to log this value d inside, right? I am printing this d value, and I am trying to access this block scope variable d outside also, right? Uh, you see, when I click run this, okay, d is not defined. You see, it supports the block scope also. Why? Because the d is declared with the let keyword in the block scope. The variable which is defined in the block scopes, when I try to access this variable outside of the scope, it won't support. It won't access, right? Yeah. Now the interview, what is the difference between where and let? Can anyone tell me now? What is the difference between where and let? In interview, they will ask you this question. In one of my interview, they asked this question. What is the difference between where and let?
Where can be redeclared and let not be redeclared. Uh, and in the where, it's not supported to the function scope.
No, no, it supports the function scope. It won't support the block scope,
Okay,
but
okay, sorry,
support the
blocks.
block scope also. Okay. So this is the differences you have to tell the interviewer. Yeah, interviewer they will ask you. So while if you encounter this question, you need to consider these things: reassign, redeclaration, function scope, block scope. Okay, you need to keep these points in mind. Where and let. Where supports the reassign, let supports the reassign. Where support the redeclaration, let won't support the redeclaration. Where support the function scope, let support the function scope. Where doesn't support the block scope, but let supports the block scope. Make sense? Any questions here? Can I go with the next topic? Because it's a crash course, I want to cover all the topics. Is it clear? If you say clear, I will move to the next topic.
Yes, it's clear, sir.
Yeah, yeah. So we discussed it about the let and where, right? Yeah, let me comment all the code. So these are the basics. We should know these basics, right? Yeah, because so while doing the LWC development, while debugging, if you don't know these basics, you, okay, we'll face a lot of troubles while debugging. If you have a strong knowledge on the JavaScript, it's very easy to debug the things. Yeah, how? Because JavaScript is a confusing language. We cannot predict the behavior of the JavaScript in some scenarios. I will show you that. That is the reason. If you have a strong knowledge on the basics, then it's very easy to debug and develop the LWC components, right? Yeah. So that is the reason. Uh, now we are talking about the const, right? So we can declare the variable with the const also, right? Similar to the varlet const, right? Some str1, right? You see, I declare the variable, right? This is the variable declaration, right? Yeah. You see, when I try to print the log, okay, str1, here I am able to see the output. You see, right? Yeah. Let's say I didn't initialize the value, right? str, but I am trying to print the value. You see, missing initialization is const declaration. Whenever you're using the const means you have to provide the value. You should provide the value. Then only so the value will be displayed in the output. If you don't give the value, you will get the, you see, we earlier we have seen the reference error. Now we are seeing the syntax error. You need to remember these errors also, because in interview they will ask you in how many types of errors you will encounter in the JavaScript. We have seen the reference error. Now we have seen the syntax error. Okay, missing initialization, right? Yeah, you see. But you see, let's say here I am declaring the let, right? Some CV. Okay, here I am giving some value. I am not giving any value for the CV. Okay, when I try to log the this CV, now you guys tell me for the let also, is it going to throw error, syntax error or not? Any idea this thing? Here I didn't initialize any value for the let, but for the const we should initialize the value. But for the let I didn't initialize any value. When I try to print that
But
variable value,
getting errors, sir. No.
so
Undefined. maybe it missed
When I
the.
run this, you see you won't get any error. For the let and where, if you don't initialize variable, by default it will take undefined. This is the interview point of question also. You need to remember this point. So when you declare a variable with the let and where, okay, if you won't assign any value to this variable, what is the default value, right? The default value is undefined. Okay, got it?
Yes.
Yeah, you need to remember this point, undefined. Don't say you will get the error. You won't get the error. For the let and where, it will take undefined. Okay, yeah. You see, for the const, the variable declaration done. Now reassign, right? Yeah, you see. In the str1, I am assigning num, right? Yeah. For the const, reassigning is possible or not?
No.
No, it's not possible. It's pretty straightforward thing, right? In the const, we need to initialize the value. The reassigning is not possible. You see, assignment to the constant variable. You see, you will see type error. You see, we have seen syntax error, reference error, type error. You see, assignment to constant variable, reassigning is not possible. Okay, yeah. So let me clear this thing. Let me comment this thing. Yeah. Next thing is redeclaration, right? So redeclaration in the sense again I am redeclaring the variable str1 equals to something I am giving, right? Yeah. Now you see reassigning is not possible. Redeclaration. When I try to this thing, you see here we will see the syntax error. You identifier str already been declared. You see str1 with the cons already declared. When I try to redeclare, it's not possible. Okay, you will see syntax error. You see we have seen syntax error, type error, reference error. Okay, uh, so redeclaration is also not possible, right? Yeah, now we will take function test. Let's declare a variable with the const. Okay, some t, some 100. Just I am printing this value on t. Okay, and I am trying to access this const variable. The scope is the function scope, and I am trying to access outside also, right? And the variable name is t. I will keep the message. Uh, I will just outside for our understanding. Here I will put the inside. Okay, let me try to run this thing. You see const support the function scope also. So you see this is in the function scopes. If you try to access this variable, it's not allowed to access. This variable life will be in this scope only. After that, this variable doesn't have the life, right? Yeah, it won't be accessible. This variable scope or life, we can say this will be in the this block only. Okay, got it? Yeah. Now, so it means it supports the function scope also. Now we have another scope is the block scope, right? So block scope in the sense we already know, right? Uh, Here I am declaring the variable const t some welcome. I am trying to access. I don't want to type. Just copy paste. So you see, right? Yeah. Now you see this is the block scope, right? In the block scope, I declared the variable t with the const keyword. So this variable will be available in the block scope. We already know, but I am trying to access the variable outside of the block scope. Now you see reference error. T is not defined. You see T is not defined. T is not first what JavaScript will check for this T. The T is available here, but the T is available in the block scope. So again, it will check for the global scope. In the global, there is a T is variable or not. The T variable is not available in the global scopes. That is the reason what it will do. It will give the reference error T is not defined. Okay, block scope is also supported by the const keyword. Yes, this is all about the var let const. So in the JavaScript, if you want to declare a variable, we have a three keywords var let const, but don't use the var. So use the let or const. And so in interview, definitely they will ask you this question. But in one of the interview also, they asked me to explain the difference between the var let const. So why? Okay, you need to consider four things. Okay, first reassigning, redeclaration, function scope, and block scope. So I hope this concept is clear you, right? Any questions here? Can I move to the next topic?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, everything is clear, right? Variable declaration, the scope, a block scope, function scope, reassigning, redeclaration, right? Yeah. So now I am creating the one more file, uh, that is nothing but operators.js. So similar to the, let me close all the things. Let me open the, okay. Yeah. We already know, right? We have a, I don't want to discuss these things, but just I will explain you. These are common, right? Operators. What are the operators we have? This is the self-explanatory in all programming languages it is available, right? We have a addition, we have a subtraction, we have a division, we have a multiplication, right? And we have a relational operators, right? So what are the relational operators? We have a greater than, we have a less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, not equals to, double equals to, and triple equals to, right? And we have a uh, logical operators, right? Logical operators are nothing but we have a and operator, we have a not operator, pipe similar, sorry, or operator, we have a not operator, exclamation, right? Logical operator. We have a assignment operators, right? If you want to assign a variable, we will use assignment operators, right? This is the assignment operator. We have a plus equals to, we have a subtract equals to, we have a division equals to, we have a multiplication equals to, right? These are assignment, right? Let's say let x equals to 100. You see, right hand side is the value, left hand side is the variable. This is the assignment operator. This value will be stored in the x, right? Uh, for this x, I want to add 10 value, right? How we'll do? X equals to x plus 10, right? You see, x is already 100. For the x 100, I am adding 10 value. But we can write like this also, right? X plus equals to 10, right? Both are same, right? So these are assignment operators, okay? And we have a, so arithmetical operator, a relational operator, logical operator, assignment operator. We have a increment or decrement, right? So we already know, right? Plus plus, minus minus, right? So these are the operators. I don't want to discuss all the things. These are self-explanatory, basic things. Okay. Uh, so these are the operator. So after that, we have a one more thing is also ternary operator, right? How we'll do? So we will define the condition, right? Condition question mark. If the condition is true, okay. If the condition is true, it will. If the given condition question mark. If the given condition is true, it will execute this thing. If the given condition is false, it will execute this thing, right? This is called the ternary operator, right? So these are basics. I don't want to, I hope everyone all know all these things, self-explanatory basic things, right? Yeah. Now we have a control statements, right? We already know, right? Control statement if, right? We have a if else, right? We have a if else if. We can write multiple else if, right? We already know, right, these things. I don't want to discuss all things. I hope everyone is clear, right? If you want to explain it, I will explain these things. If you know all these things, I will skip these things. These are self-explanatory, pretty straightforward things. Need explanation for this thing, or can I go to the next topic?
We can move forward.
Yeah, because these are right. We have another thing also. We have a switch case. You see, just if you see, if I, right, you see, if else, you see the syntax already available. If the condition is true, it will execute. If thing if condition is false, it will go to the else block. We can write the if else, right? You see, we have a switch, right? You see, the switch here will provide the key. If the key matches this value, it will print this value. We need to provide the break. If the key is not matched this value, it will go to the default, right? These are self-explanatory, pretty common things. Okay. Now we are going to the discussed about the control statements and everything. And
Uh,
one
we have while loop, while, do while.
yeah, I will explain those things also. Yeah. Uh, now now the one important interview question also, JS falsy values, right? So you see, go with this MDN documentation. Okay. So JavaScript, this is the most common interview question. They will ask you what is the truthy value, what is the falsy value, right? Yeah, that is important thing. And you see, you will find the other article also. You see what is the falsy values in the thing. You see, we have a 6 falsy values in the JavaScript. You need to remember this thing. It's very important while implementing the LWC components also. If you know these things, it's very easy to write the code. It's very important thing. Okay. You see, false is the falsy value. Okay, we already know, right? False is also falsy value, right? We are discussing about the falsy, not truthy. Okay. JavaScript having 6 falsy values. You see, if I take the false, it will give the false. You see, if I take the 0 also, you see, 1 is the true, 1 indicates the true, 0 indicates the false. So 0 is also falsy value. You see, double quotes, it's empty, or single quotes, right? It is also empty string is also falsy value. You see, null also falsy value, undefined also falsy value, and we have a NaN, not a number, right? So here it is also falsy value. So when interviewer ask you what is the falsy values in the JavaScript, right? So we have a falsy values in the JavaScript. If we want to check the conditions, we should be careful with the falsy values and truthy values. If you know the falsy values, then it's very too easy to know the truthy value. You see, what are the falsy values? If false, right? 0 is the false, right? Empty is the false, right? Null is the false, right? Undefined is the false, right? NaN is the false values, right? Okay. So you see, any questions here? Any questions here regarding the falsy values? Any questions here regarding the falsy values? Falsy values are false, 0, empty, double quotes or single quotes, null, undefined, NaN. Okay, let's say the interviewer will give you see falsy values. Okay. uh, you see, I am taking this thing. uh, now I am execute this program. What is the output? Can anyone tell me? When I execute this program,
Welcome will be the output.
yeah, you see, welcome is the output, right? Why one is the truthy value, right? One is the truthy value, right?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Now you
Yes.
see, when I use the 0, now you guys tell me what is the output here.
It's undefined.
And
No
No,
output, there
no.
won't be anything.
If we are using the 0, I am printing this thing. What output we will see here?
There won't be
Nothing
any.
right. Nothing right. It is 0 is the false, right?
Okay.
0 is the false, right? If condition will execute the true scenario, right? Here I have given the false value, right? It won't execute, right? Let's say you see, here I am logging, right? Now you tell me what is the output here.
Falsy.
Here you will see we will got, right? You see, while using the conditions, we should know the truthy and falsy. You see, this the 0 is the falsy, right? So that is the reason it will go to the else block. Now you see, I am using undefined. Undefined is also truthy or falsy.
False.
Falsy. You see, it will go to the else block, right? You see, falsy. And we have a null. Null is also truthy value or falsy value.
False.
Falsy. You see,
okay.
it will go to the falsy, right? Here I am giving the empty string. You see, is it truthy value or falsy value?
Again false.
Again the falsy value. When I run this, you see it will go to the. Let's say here you see, I am giving not empty string. Some string is there, right? Now it is truthy value or falsy value?
Truth.
Truthy value. You see, it will print the welcome, right? Yeah. Okay. So we have a truthy values and falsy values. So you need to remember while using the conditions, be careful. These are the falsy values. False, 0, double quotes or single quotes, null, undefined, or not a number also. Okay. Let's say you see here I am giving this thing. Now you guys tell me this is the truthy. This is the array, right? Is it truthy value or falsy value? We already know falsy value, right? What is this? Is it going to show this one or this one?
Else block.
It's an empty array, no? So
No,
else.
no, no, no. Here you see. Please keep this in mind. Interviewer will confuse you. These are the falsy values. Other than this, if you give this, it's a truthy value. That is the reason it is showing welcome. I already told you, right? JavaScript is a confusing language. So if If you do the practice, then only we will know these things. But keep these policy values in the mind, right? So you know the truth here. You see, here I have given this thing. This is the object, right, in the JavaScript. Now you guys tell me, is the truthy value or false value?
Kruti.
Yeah, you see, yeah, it was welcome, right? Other than this, false, zero, empty, null, undefined, NaN, remaining are our truthy values. You need to keep this thing. It's a very common interview question. They will ask you about the what are the falsy values are available in the JavaScript. You see, you need to keep this thing. But interviewer, they will trick you. They will give you this kind of things also. They will ask you, right? Make sense? Any doubts? Any questions here? Truthy or falsy? Because if you are, we have a JavaScript exam, right? For the LWC developer, Salesforce, we have a certification. If you want to do the certification, they will ask you this kind of questions in the JavaScript exam, very tough exam. So you should be aware of all these things, falsy values, and then only you can easily, okay, select the answer. Yeah. Now, okay. Is it okay? Can I go with the next topic?
Yes.
Okay. I need to cover a lot of topics. I will try to cover all the topics. If not, next week also I will pay. I will cover remaining topics. Don't worry. Okay. But I am going to cover the basics along with the in-depth and interview point of question also. Let's say you see we have a lot. You see I have a type of, right. Let's take the variable, let x equals to 100, right. uh, Let me type, we have a type of, right. Now if you see the type of x is, if I print this thing, number, right. Yeah. So next here you see x is the string, right. While using the type of x, what is this? Let me clear this thing. You see x is declared as a welcome, right. I am using type of x, right. You see it's a type is the string. So if you want to find the type of the variable, because the JavaScript dynamic typing, right, we can use the type of operator. Let's say here you see I am declaring the boolean value, so true. So now I am trying to print the x type is the boolean, right. Now you see, now I am trying to find the x type. Yeah, now you guys tell me, what is the x type? What is the x type?
Falsy.
No. Here we type of
Undefined.
Oh,
using
okay. Sorry.
type. We are uh, we need to identify the type of this variable.
Undefined.
Yeah, X type is undefined. You see, for the undefined, this is the undefined, right? We have a
Okay.
null, right? You see. So when I try to find the type of X is assigned with the null value, right? Type of JavaScript will give the object. You need to remember this point, but make sure for the type of null, it will give the object. You need to keep this point in mind. This is in one of the interview they will ask this question, and in the JavaScript exam also you will encounter this question. They will give you x null, and they will, in the output they will ask you type of x. Most of the people, if you do not practice these things, we will thought about null type is also null, but it's a object. Okay, you need to remember. Now you see I am giving array, right. Hmm. Now you guys tell me, what is the type of this array? In the JavaScript array we will declare the, right. Yeah, you see. Uh, array type is also object, right? And we have a object, right? Object type is always object, right? Yeah, you need to keep these points in mind. Just for the null only, the type is not null, the type is object. Okay, this point you need to keep this in mind. Okay, this is all about the operators and control statements and everything. So in the control statements, if you want to work on the arrays, and if you want, right, so we have a loops, right? What type of loops are available, right? We have a traditional for loop, we have a while loop, we have a do while loop, right? In the JavaScript, additionally, we have a for in loop, we have a for of loop also. Okay, traditional for loop, I don't want to discuss all things, right? You see, the syntax pretty straightforward. If you take any programming language, it's common. Initialization, condition, increment or decrement, block, right? This is the for loop, traditional for loop, right? If you want to write the while loop, right? You see, while condition, here we will do the increment or decrement. This is the while block, right? Initialization, here we will do initialization. Here we need to write, right? Uh, increment or decrement, right? We will do the logic here, right? Okay, first it will check the condition. If it is true, it will execute the logic, and here we will increment again. It will check until the condition become false, right? So if I didn't define the increment or decrement, what will happen? So the in interview, what they will do, they will give you, you see, interview, they will give you this thing, right? And here I am printing the I value. What they will do, the interview, just he will paste this code in the chart, right? Interview chart. They will ask you, can you tell me what is the output? You guys tell me what is the output for this thing.
One will be the output, and it will go in sorry, the loop will be going in infinite loop.
Yeah, you should be careful, right? Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, you see, the I equal to 1 less than or equal to 10, condition true, 1 will be printed. Again it will goes to here, right? 1, always 1, it becomes infinite, right? So be careful while writing the loops. So we need to careful about it. Now you see, I am using the increment operator, right? Now I equals to 1, 1 is printed. Now I will incrementing 2, 2 less than or equal to 10, condition true, 2 will be print. You see, now the loop is not infinite. Okay, you should aware of how the execution process of the loops also. Okay, these are pretty straightforward common things. Okay, any questions here? For going forward, I will explain additional for in loop, for of loop. These are important, but these are pretty common in the Apex also. We have all these things. We have a do while also, right? You see, first it will execute the condition statement. After that, it will check the condition. Uh, i- okay, is everything clear here regarding the loops? I hope you all guys know all these things. That is the reason I don't want to explain these things. Self-explanatory, pretty straightforward things. Guys, any questions regarding the loops?
No, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So now we are going. These are self-explanatory, pretty straightforward thing. Next, we are going to the important topic. Okay, uh, that is nothing but uh, functions. Very very important topic, right? This is the heart of the JavaScript. What is a function, right? Here we are calling the function, but in the Apex, right, in the Java, in some other programming, right, they will call as a method, right? Uh, okay, what is a function? The function is nothing but something, the piece of code, right? We will write, okay? So to perform a task, yeah, you can give your own definition also. That what is a function, right? So we will write a function. So it's a piece of code. So in the piece of code, what we are doing, right? So we are doing some task, right? The task may be anything, right? Right. So what we will do here, we will write a functions in the JavaScript. Right? The piece of if you take any application, right? The pretty common things are register, right? So behind the scenes, what is this? There is a function, right? For the registration, there is a function. After the registration, we will log in, right? For the login, also behind the scenes, we will write a function, right? So whatever we do, so everything we will write a function, right? So how we need to write a function, right? Uh, so in the JavaScript, we have a many ways to write a function, right? The basic syntax is function, right? Function name, function follows the parenthesis, function body. This is right. This is the function syntax. Function name follows the parenthesis, and this is the function body. Here we will write some logic, right? Yeah. So how we need to refine first what we need to do in the JavaScript, define a function, right? Let's the simple function I am writing. I am writing the function is the uh, something name. Yes, the say hi something like this. Yeah, the function. So here we are not passing any parameters, right? Yeah, just here I am printing this log. Okay, welcome to functions. Okay, and now just I am commenting this thing. You see, I am running this thing here. You see, we are not able to see this message. Why? Just we define the function, but in the JavaScript, if you want to see, if you want to execute the function, right, we need to call the function. Call the function, right? Yeah, how we need to call the function? Say hi, right, like this, right? Yeah, you see now we'll see the output, right? So this is called the function name, followed the parenthesis. Function will take the parameters also, but as of now I didn't pass any parameters. Function body, just I am printing some message. After that you need to call the function. So you can call as many times as you want the function. Once you define the function, if you want to call the function will be called many times. See, I called how many times? You see, you see. Okay, if you want to call it, simply just uh, call the name, right? Yeah. So this is the basic function. Okay, any questions here? The function syntax, basic function syntax. Let's say the interviewer will trick you like this. you see the function will be the function is defined here. I'm removing here. Just I'm commenting here. Okay. Now the function is defined here, but I'm calling before the function definition. Is it going to throw the error or is it going to execute? Any idea? Here I define the function, but I am calling before the function definition.
I think it will execute, I guess.
Yeah. So when I run this, you see it will execute. Okay, but I said that JavaScript will execute the line by line, right? First it will execute this line. Okay, after that it will go to the line. But I will explain you and going forward. Nothing to worry as of now. But just now I want to cover the basics. Later I will go with these in-depth details and everything. Okay, this is the function declaration. Now the beauty of the JavaScript is we can save the function in the variable also. Okay, so this is called, we can write uh, function expression also multiple times, right? Yeah, how you see here I am declaring the variable. I am declaring the variable name is add. You see I am declaring the function, right? Now here you see here I am passing the parameters. Okay, here what I am doing, if you want to return a value, if you want to print a value, we will use the lag value, but I don't want to print the value. I want to return the value. I want to use that value somewhere in the program. So what we will do here, we will use the return keyword, right? Function will return a value, right? Yeah, so here what I am doing, returning a plus b, right? Yeah, you see here we declared the function with the function name, but here you see the function is declared without the name, right? uh, this is called, this is called anonymous function. You see in the JavaScript, what is the anonymous function? The function doesn't have the name. We can write like this also in the JavaScript, right? What is the function expression? The function, that anonymous function or anything that should be assigned to the variable. You see, I assigned this function the variable, right? So this is called the function expression. Now you guys tell me. I am commenting this code. Now I print the log. You see, I am printing the log. In the log, I am printing this variable. You guys tell me what is the output here. Is it going to print a plus b? What
Undefined.
you are saying undefined? Any other?
We have to pass the value with the add now.
No, no, no. I'm not talking about the pass. We already know, right? For the function, it is expecting two params. We need to pass. I'm not talking about the pass. Just I'm printing the add. What it will
Showing
print here.
undefined then.
So if you see here, so in the add is a variable, right? So JavaScript supports to store the function in the variable also. You see, I am storing this function in the variable, right? So obviously, you see, but let me here it won't show functions.js. When I go to index.js, let me uh, print here functions.js, right? Uh, when I go to this, right, refresh it, go to the console. You see, it's not undefined. It will show entire function body. Function will be not executed. It will print the entire body. Okay, function body you see. Okay. So, but I want to execute the function, right? It is returning some value. I want to print it. Then what you need to do, whatever the parameter we are passing here, we are storing it the variable, right? Similarly, here you need to pass to, right? You see, right? Now if I run this, you see, here we will see 30. Got it? So when I print the variable, it will print the function body. But when if you want to execute this function, right? So for the variable name, just you need to add the this thing and you need to pass the thing. Okay, got it? This is called anonymous function. The function doesn't have the name. This is called the function expression. We can store the functions in the variables also, and we can execute like this also. Okay, got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's say you see this function. Uh, this function it is expecting the two parameters, but now I am passing the 10 only. Now can you guys tell me what is the output here?
Ten.
You are saying 10, right? I am passing only one, right? You see, NAL. You see, the interviewer will trick you. They will give you this kind of things. The 10 is passed to the A, and B is there. I didn't pass any value, right? You guys tell me what is the B? What is the value it is stored in the B by default? If you won't pass anything, earlier I
Undefined.
also explained undefined. 10 plus undefined, right? What is the output here? You will see
Not a number.
not a number. You need to remember this part. Any number with the undefined, right? Uh, you right? Let's say you see I have a 10 plus. I am adding with the null. What is the value here? You see here here I am passing the null, right? Second thing when I save it, you see this scenario. You see for the undefined it is giving not a number, but when I pass the null, it is taking as the number. Okay. So the the language is specified like that. That is the reason it is giving the output. I will explain these things in the going forward session. Nothing to worry as of now. Now you see here I am giving 20, right? You see 10, 20. 10 is a number, but for the B I am passing the 20 as a string. I am doing the A plus B. Then you see here what is happened. What is happened?
Concatenation.
Concatenation. How it is happening, right? Yeah, I will explain these things internals later, but I don't want to confuse you. Here the number is this 10 data type is the number, this string, right? Here internally the language specified whenever it is a string, always entire expression it becomes a string. I will explain these internal things later. I don't want to confuse you, but yeah, this is the function expression. Okay. Any questions here? How to write the function? Function will return a value also. You can write like this. We have a normal function. We have a anonymous function like this, and we can store it in the variable also. We can call it the function expression. So simple. You can write as many functions as you want, right? Yeah. Let's say I want to implement the authentication login function, right? Yeah, how we will write? Yeah, function name login. It is expecting to write the password. Yeah, now I will do if something, right? So username equals to something sample, and password equals to something sample 123. Okay, so just say I'm putting the log message, right? Yeah, log message, something login success, right? So otherwise I'm taking, okay, console dot. If you want to show the error, we have an error also, right? Login error. Try again. You see, I have written some function, right? The login. Okay, how we need to call this function, right? Login, right? Here we need to pass the username. You see, I am passing the username. It's a positive scenario, and here I am passing some 123, right? Password equals to, right? Yeah, you see, I'm calling the function, right? When I run this, you see login success. Let's say I have given the wrong password. Yeah. Let's say I have written thing. Yeah, you see login login. You can do. Uh, you can write as many functions as you want. Let's say you can call these things as many times as you want with the different inputs. Okay, so this is the function along with the function name. Here you see these are called the parameters. These are called params. Hmm. And these are called arguments. You need to remember this point in interview also. Sometimes they will ask you what is the difference between the parameters and the arguments. The interviewer will confuse you. Okay, these are the params, right? What are the parameters, right? For the for the function, if you pass any variables, right, these are parameters. While calling the function, if we pass the values, these are called the arguments. Okay, you need to remember this point. Params are parameters, arguments. While defining the function for the variable, we are using the variables, right? These variables are the parameters. While calling the function for these values, these are the arguments we are passing. Okay, got it or not?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now you see, this is all about the function. Now coming to the, we have a one more thing I want to discuss. IIFE function, but it is not important. But just you should know this thing of is also available in the JavaScript also. IFE function in the sense immediate invocable invoke function expression, I think, right? You see what we are doing here, we are defining the function and we are calling the function, right? So in the JavaScript, what we need to do, if we want to execute this piece of the code, we need to call the function, right? But the interviewer will ask you, so in the single line I want to call the function. If you we can do in the JavaScript also, that is called IIFE function, immediate invocable function expression, right? Yeah, how we'll do, right? You see, I am writing the simple function, right? Just I am logging the message. Here I am giving some message, right? Earlier what we are doing here, I am calling the function, right? For this function I am not passing any arguments. this function is also not expecting any parameters, right? What will happen when I run this thing? You see, here we are getting the output, but the interviewer will ask you, I want single line, but in the single line I want to show the output. I want to get the output, right? Yeah, so this thing can be possible. These are called IAFE function. We can write like this also. How? You see, first you need to write the function, right? You need to wrap the function with the parentheses, uh, right? After that you need to call this thing. So you see, okay, this is right. Earlier we are defining function, defining and fire. Now you see in the single line. Now if I run this, my bad, uh, I need to wrap this here. Okay, I think you see the wrap the function like this. Why it is? Let me welcome to JS, right? It is printed or not? Let me comment it again. I don't want to confuse you. Uh, okay, save it. You see, I have written the function. Right, let me remove this thing. Right, this is the function, right? What we need to do here, we need to wrap the function with the parenthesis, right? You see, when I clear this thing, you see the function is not called, but I want to call the function, right? You see, I'm putting the outside. Let's run it. You see, in the single line I'm able to call the function also. This is called immediate invocable function expression. We need to write like this. Let's say it is expecting two parameters, right? A comma B. Let's say it is expecting name, right? I want to print the name. Now what you need to do, you see this function is wrapped with the parenthesis. This function is expecting the single parameter, right? Here you see I will pass this, right, like this. You see, okay, got it. This is called IIFE function, immediate invocable function express. But this is not required for the LWC development, but just you should aware of these things also. This kind of thing is also possible in the JavaScript. Any questions, any confusion here? Because in the JavaScript interview, JavaScript exam, you will encounter this kind of question also. That is the reason I'm explaining. For the LWC development, we never use this kind of syntaxes. For the exam purpose and interview purpose, just I am explaining these things. Any doubts, any questions here?
No, sir.
Okay, this is the now in the modern JavaScript. Okay, so they introduced the arrow function, right? It is very important. So you can use the existing syntax also, function, or in the LWC development you can write the arrow function also, right? Yeah, how we need to write the arrow function, right? So because it's a simplified syntax, and it minimizes the code length also by using the arrow function, right? First of all, let me write the normal function. uh, just simple normal function. How we'll write the normal function, right? Yeah, I want to calculate the square, right? I will pass the n. I will return the n into n, right? Yeah, normal function we will write like this, right? Function, give the function name, pass the parameters, implement the logic. So when you want to return a value, you need to use the return keyword. right? Yeah. Now you, the question is, uh, so when I call the function, right? I want to log the right? I am logging this normal function. The what is the function name square? Here I want to pass the argument, right? Already told you, right? This is the argument. This is the parameter. Now you guys tell me what is the output we will see here.
16.
Huh?
16.
16. What about this x variable?
That that won't sorry, that won't be executed because we have a return statement, right?
Yeah. So very good. So you see here, the interviewer will trick you this kind of things. Make sure when we are using the return keyword in the function, okay, JavaScript control, okay, whenever it sees the return keyword, it will return this value. It won't execute after if you define any statements. You need to keep this point in mind. Okay, yeah. So it will give the square is 16. That's correct. Yeah. Now you see the normal function, but you see the same function I need to write by using the arrow function, right? How we need to write the arrow function, right? You see, I will copy this thing, remove the function keyword, okay, put the const or let after the square, right? Add the arrow, fat arrow. Sorry, my bad. Uh, Square, right? After that, you see, add the equals to. You see, after this parameter, right? Add the fat arrow. So this is called the arrow function. Okay, makes sense. You see here, you need to take let or const, right? You see, variable here, the parameters, fat arrow. This is the body, similar to the function body. This is the body we need to define here. Okay, let me take square one, right? Yeah. Now you see, when I print this thing, square one, let me give as 5. Okay, you see, when I run this, you see we got the output. So this is arrow function. Okay, arrow function, you need to variable. How to first write the arrow function? Parameters, fat arrow, arrow function body. Okay, got it? This is the arrow function. Let's say for the arrow function, you see here I am passing one parameter only. You don't need this brackets also. If it is a single thing, you see, I am able to see the output also. You see, if you are passing the single parameter, you don't need the parenthesis, but make sure you pass the parenthesis also. We can pass as many parameters as you want. You see, uh, let's say I will write one more function, const add func, right? I'm writing the arrow function. Here I am passing three three params, fat arrow, arrow function body. I want to return the value a plus b plus c something. The simple logic. After that, I need to call the arrow function. How we will call the arrow function? Add func, right? Here you see I will pass this thing, right? Yeah, you see. Now you guys need to ask a question. You see, for the normal function also, where it is taking the multiple lines. For the arrow function also, it is taking the multiple line. What is the advantage here? You see, by using the arrow functions, we can write the single line of code instead of multiple lines. You see, you don't need to write return and everything. You don't need to define the body also. Sometimes we need to define the body. We can write in the single line also. You see, this is the single line. Just I will use this parenthesis. You see, okay. When I run this, you see, yeah, you don't need a return keyword, return statement. We can write a single. Implicitly, it will return the value. So advantage of the arrow function is we can write in the single line. That is the advantage of the arrow function. You see the square arrow function you are using, right? So you don't need to return and everything. If we have a multiple lines, we have to define the body. Otherwise, you see, uh, you can remove this return. You can remove this parenthesis also, right? Right? You see the single line I have written. Run it. You see, I'm able to see. Got it? This is all about the arrow function. Any questions? Any doubts here? Arrow function. No questions? Is everything is clear related to the function? Arrow function and everything? Now I'm writing one more function, arrow function. Const multiply, right? So here I am taking 2y something. Here I am writing the body. So x into y, right? Yeah. Let me comment all the things. Just you see, I am calling the arrow function, right? Uh, how we need to call the arrow function here? Multiply. Passing 2 comma 3. Yeah. Now you guys tell me what is the output here. What is the output we will see here?
Six.
Huh? You are saying 6, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You see undefined. Why undefined? Why it is not written 6?
Const we are using, that's why.
Yeah, please carefully read the code. It's a simple snippet, right? Please carefully read the code. Don't be hurry when you are answering the question. Just think about, take your time. Why it is not written the 6? Why it is written the undefined?
So return keyword is not written there.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, so good catch. Yeah, you see, we need to use the return keyword. You see, when we are defining the arrow function body, you should always use the return keyword, right? You see, now we are able to see. But you see, but I don't have the multi-line logic, right? But why I need to write this body and everything? Why I need to return this thing? You see, I want to make it as a single line. Nothing a complex logic, right? If it is a complex logic, I will use the body, right? Arrow function body. You see, now also we can 6, right? Now make sure while using in the LWC also make sure while using the arrow function body, make sure you should use the return keyword. Otherwise, you will see undefined. If you want to make it as a single line, remove the return keyword and remove the body, make it as a single line. Automatically, implicitly, arrow function will return the value. You don't need to specify return keyword. When you need to specify the return keyword, when you are defining the body, then only you need to specify the return keyword. Make sense? You see, these are the basics things. You should aware of all these things. You should keep this in mind, because interviewer will paste this snippet to you and he will ask you the provide the answer, right? uh, it's a simple snippet, but don't, please scan the code carefully, the recollect the basics, and take some time and give the proper answer. It's very important. Don't be hurry while giving the answer. Carefully read. If you are not able to understand in the uh, single time, once again read it and then only give the answer. Yeah, it's very important. Okay, you okay? Got it or not? So how we need to write the arrow function? Let's say you see I have defined the two parameters, right? I removed the parenthesis here. Now you guys tell me, when I run this, what is the output we will see here? Is it going to give the 6 or is it going to throw error?
It will throw error because we are passing two parameters, right?
Yeah, very good. Good catch. You see, because when we are passing the two parameters, make sure you need to use the parenthesis, right? It's important. So the interviewer will trick you like this also. So we should you see, got it? Yeah. This is all about the arrow function. Any questions? We discussed about the different kind of function. Uh, any questions here?
No, sir.
Yeah. Now you see in the JavaScript. One more question to you. Can we pass another function as param? Is it possible? Let's say you see I have a function. Okay. We'll take the greeting. Just I will log the message. Just welcome JS course something. Here what I am doing here, I am writing the function. Uh, what I what's the name I need to give? I'm looking for the names. Yeah, something I will give the test method. Uh, right? Yeah. For the test method, earlier we are passing the params like variables, right? Now I am passing this function as a param. First, you tell me, is it possible or not in the JavaScript?
Possible.
Yeah, it's the possible. So in the JavaScript, we can pass another function as a param to the function. So this is called we can call, I think, first class function. JavaScript or first class functions are nothing but, you see, the flexibility. They will provide the flexibility. This flexibility is not available in any other programming language. In the Apex, is it possible? If you know the Apex, for the method, can we call another method? In the Apex, is it
Uh,
possible?
I'm guessing no. No is the answer. We cannot.
Yeah, no, yeah. So it's not. The JavaScript only it's possible. Okay, so that is the reason it's called a first class function, right? Yeah. Now the question to you here: what is happening, right? Here we are passing the reference of the function, right? what is the reference, right? Address, right? So we will talk about those things later, going forward. Nothing to worry as of now. But you see, in the test method, let's say, just I am putting the log. Okay, just I am printing this greeting. It's just like a variable, right? Yeah. Now what I am doing here, I am calling the test method, right? For the test method, what I am doing here, I am passing this, right? Greeting. Here you can take whatever it is. Something I am taking the FC. I don't want to confuse FC, right? Yeah. You see, this is the function. This is the test method function. I am passing this function as a param, right? What I am calling this test method. What is the output we will see here? Is it going to print this thing or not? The question to you guys. Yeah.
Yes, it will print. Welcome JS
Right,
course.
welcome to JS course, right?
Yeah.
Uh, Anyone? Any other answer? Any other? You said welcome to JS course. It is going to print. Is it going to print or is it going to throw any error or is it going to print other than this message? You said welcome JS course. Yeah, you see. So, but internal things you should know, right? Yeah. So you see, let me go to this thing. Uh, where is the eraser? Yeah. Yeah. You see, just carefully observe. Uh, First function greeting is declared, right? So obviously, uh, JavaScript program will execute in the call stack. Yeah, I will display these things, internal things going forward. As of now, what will happen, right? In the memory, you see this function is created, right? What is the function? Greeting, right? The greeting having the body, right? Yeah. So in the memory, what will happen? It will create some memory address, right? You see, let's assume this is the memory address, right? This memory address is pointing to this function, right? You see. So when you write a program, here I have written the greeting function, right? Behind in the memory, what will happen? The function will be created. Not only for the variable, for the function, we will get a reference, right? This is the reference. It's address, right? Yeah. Now you see again I created a test method, right? So now what will happen? Again it will create one more function in the memory, uh, test method, right? For this test method function also, so it will create some memory address, right? Let's assume some 0x some 125. So it is pointing to this function, right? Yeah, this kind of things happen when you declare a variable also. Internal, these are the internal things. Yeah, now you see this thing. Now what we are doing here, I am calling the test method, right? How we need to call the function? Function name followed the parenthesis. Here we need to pass the argument, right? It's an argument, right? Yeah, it's a parameter, right? We already discussed, right? So here we are passing the greeting. Here we are passing the another function. This greeting, right? It will take in the fc, right? Fc variable. Here I am printing the fc. You see, I am printing the fc only. What it will do? So it will take the greeting entire function. So based on this address, it will print this entire function, not it will print this message. You see, when we run this, here we are not able to see. If you want to see, here you see, go to the console here. You see, it is printing whole function, right? Uh, but I want to print this message, right? If you want to print the message, we need to call the function, right? How we will call the function? Here we are printing, right? We don't need to use again console log. You see, now we are calling the function. So now what will happen? You see, this message is displayed. Got it? Got it or not? In the function we can call the another function also, but another function, if you want to execute, you need to call the function here. If you call the function, we already know, right? Function follows the parenthesis. Got it? Got it or not? Guys, any questions here? Any questions, any doubts, any confusion here? Can I go with the next topic?
Sir, could you please repeat this FC function? I couldn't understand.
Yeah, you see, in the JavaScript for the function, this is one function I have written, right? Just we are printing some message only. Greeting is the function. This is the another function. This function we can pass another function reference also. You see here, fc is nothing but the variable, right? What type of variable it is? What type of variable it is? You see, I am calling the text method. Here I am passing this greeting function, right? We can pass the another function reference to other function also. This is called the first class function. You see, I am greeting function, I am passing as a argument to the this function. This function will call the greeting, right? That greeting, the greeting function is there, right, in the memory. You see, the greeting based on this address, this entire greeting is passed to stored in the fc variable, right? When I print the fc, it is printing the whole function body, right? This function body, but not like that. I want to execute this function, right? So that is how we need to call the function. Similarly, we know, right? So that is the reason it will call this function and it will print this message. For the function, we can pass another function as the parameter. This is called the first class function.
But in line 64, it should be greeting, right? Why we are
Huh?
line 64, it should be
Uh,
greeting, right? Why we are saying FC?
yeah, you see here you can take it's a variable, right? fc.
Right, right.
Okay, you can give the same name, but I don't want to confuse you. That is the reason you can take whatever you want. But whenever you are passing the greeting, right? So we are storing it in the variable, right?
Okay.
Okay, because in the memory, what will happen? Again, it will create the fc, right? What is the variable name, right? fc, but again, it is not going to store thing. You see, this address will point to this thing. Got it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, address. Again, it is not going to take entire thing here. In the FC, we are storing reference. FC is the reference variable. Reference variable always store the address. Greeting address. What is the greeting address? This thing, right? FC will store this address, right? I am calling this FC, right? What it will do, JavaScript, it will call the greeting function. It will print this welcome to JS course. It's a reference variable, whatever you take. It will store the address.
Got it.
Got it or not?
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Yeah, got it.
Any confusion, any doubts? You need to remember one thing, when I say reference address, in the memory it will create address, right? Key addresses, right? Yeah, you see, why I'm telling that, you see, let's say let x equals to 100, right? But behind the scenes memory, what will happen? Let's assume this is the memory, right? The memory, what it will do, it will create a location somewhere in the memory, in the RAM, we already know, right? The location, we are variable name we have given, right? X. As a programmer, we are giving the names, but memory, right? What it will do, right? It will create some address. Sorry, my bad. It will take some memory Jagarish number. It can, we don't know that number. Just I am assume some 0x1234, right? So it will point to this thing, right? In the X, we are storing in the 100, right? You see, right? Yeah. Now what I am doing here, again I am doing let z equals to x I have given. You see, I'm creating one more variable z, but whatever the value is there in the x, I am storing it in the z. But for that, you see in the memory what will happen. Again, it will create, let me take z variable here, right? The variable name is z, right? Uh, Again, it won't create, it won't take, it won't store a 100 value again. What it will do here, right? So it will take this reference. It will point to the jet variable. Okay, got it or not? So here we are
Yes.
passing the reference address of the variable address. So x address we are passing to the jet, right? We already know, right? X address. This is the address. X having the value 100. Based on this address, what it will do internally, it will store the 100 to the jet also. Okay, got it? This is called the reference. Got it? Any doubts here? The function, we can call a function, we can pass the function to other function also. You see, I have written the greeting function. This is the test method function. I am passing another function also. This is called the first class function. But if you want to execute this function, you need to use like this. Let's say for this function, you see I am passing the name parameter, right? You see, here I am printing the name, right? You see, when I run this code, you see we are getting the undefined, because this function is expecting some parameter name. While calling the test method, just I am passing the reference only, right? You see, I am not passing any value, right? Uh, Now what I will do, you see, for the test method, right? Here I am passing, you see, some parameter, right? Here also, you see, this function is expecting two parameters. First one is the function, second one is the, uh, right? Here I don't want to hard code it. Uh, Here, right? Yeah, here I am passing UC, right? Here I am passing the name. Now what you need to do? Here you need to pass the name because this greeting is expecting one parameters, right? For this test method, I am passing this. You need to pass this thing. Now you see, you will see the output here. So welcome JScourse. Got it? Got it or not? Guys, got it? Any doubts? Any confusion? Very, very important topic. Huh? Hello.
No, got it. I got it.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So this is all about the functions. So we discussed about the normal function, enable function, function expression, if function, and arrow function, and the first class function. First class function is not given. We can pass function as a parameter to the another functions, right? Yeah. So this is all about the functions. Now we are moving to the another topic. So that is nothing but object. It's a very, very important topic, right? Yeah. Let me close all. Let me open the index and object. So what is object, right? How we need to define the object, right? In the JavaScript, object is nothing but key value pair similar to JSON, if you know the JSON, but keys are not enclosed with the quotes, right? This is the object is nothing but if you want to store the key value pair data similar to the JavaScript, right? We can use the object. What is the object syntax? You see how many let's I want to store person information. I am creating the person. You see this is the empty object, right? Object should be declared open and close curly braces. If I log the value, right, this is the person, you will see the output is the empty, right? If you want to find what is the type of thing, what is the type of this person, what is the type of this person, object, right? Yeah. How we need to define the object, right? Yeah. Key value pair, right? Person in the sense the key is the name. Don't enclose with the double quotes. You need to remember if it is a JSON, key should be in the double quotes. If it is a JavaScript object, you need to define the key, right? Value, right? Right? Let's say age, something good, right? Let's say, uh, sorry, my bad. See, this is the simple object, right? Yeah. You can define as many key values you want, but as of now, it's a person, right? I want to print the whole object, right? Just you need to take the person. Yeah. You see, this is the object printed. You see key value pair, right? But I want to access the individual properties. How we will access? We need to use the dot, right? Dot property. Let's say I want to name. Let's say I want to get the age, right? So JavaScript object. You see, yeah. You see, I am getting the individual properties. If you want to access the object properties, you want to access this value, we need to use the key, right? So object name dot, yeah. This is the pretty straightforward thing, right? Yeah. So we have a one more mechanism to access the object, uh, property values, right? Yeah. So how we will access? You see, I will show you. I will comment this thing. Uh, let's log it. Uh, you see the person, right? We have a square bracket. You see, you need to give the name. This is the another way. Okay, if you want to access the object properties, you can use the dot, but you can use the square also. You see, I am able to get the thing, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now the question to you guys. Let's say uh, I want to take key like this. Uh, oh, yeah. Is it possible or not? You see the key I have given without the spaces, but I want to take key like this.
No, sir. Spaces.
Okay. Spaces, you are saying spaces not allowed, it's not possible. Any other guys? Anyone know this thing? Can we define like this keys in the JavaScript object? Can we define the keys like this for the JavaScript object? Say yes or no, guys. Just am I expecting the answer?
Not aware, sir.
Huh?
Not aware about it.
You okay? Yeah. Because you see, we can define the spaces like this also. But if you want to define the spaces like this, you need to enclose, wrap it in the double quotes. Okay. But now the question, how we need to access this thing, right? Yeah, we have a two mechanism, right? We can use the dot operators, but the dot operator, it's not possible to access these things. So then why we need to use like this? You see, I am able to access, right? Yeah. So interviewer will confuse you. He will ask you, is it possible to store the keys like this, spaces like this? Yes, possible. But we should wrap it in the double quotes. But if you want to access this kind of keys, this kind of object properties, but we need to use the square bracket notation. Okay, got it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now you see, I want to delete a property from the object, right? Yeah. How we need to delete a property in the object, right? We have a you see, delete keyword. We have a person object. In the person object, I want to delete this key, right? You see, I'm giving. So based on the situation, you have to use the notation, dot notation or square bracket notation. It's depend upon the situation and requirement. Okay. Yeah. You see, now whenever you use the delete keyword, you see this is deleted. Now you see it is showing only name and age. If you want to delete a property from an object, you need to use the delete, and you have to mention like this. Okay. Uh, and one more thing, uh, pass dynamic keys and values. Oh, sorry, my bad. Values. We have 10 or 15 minutes left. Okay, rest of the topics we'll discuss in the next week. But I tried to cover all the topics in the 2 hours, but it's not possible. So we need to discuss the we discussed the function object, right? We need to discuss it, the callbacks, and we need to discuss the promise, async await, try catch block, and we need to discuss the object destructuring, array destructuring, spread and rest operator modules. Yeah, lot of concepts I need to cover, but it's not a crash course. Uh, in the crash, it will take the time to cover all the topics, but next week I will cover remaining topics. Okay. Yeah, let's say you see I want to pass the dynamic keys and values, right? Here I am hard coding the key and hard coding the values, right? Let's say you see let what will take will take dynamic values, right? Uh, what I need to take. So here we are hard coding the values, right? Keys and values. Let's take first name instead of the name. You see here I am giving first name, uh, let uh, uh, let me comment this thing. Uh, let name equals to C. You see uh, these are the variables, right? You see first name and name, but I want to pass this as a key. I want to pass this as a value, right? Yeah, let's create an object user, right? Yeah. Now you see I want to pass this as a key. Now what I am doing here, I am passing this first name. For this thing, I want to pass this as a value. Here I am passing this variable, right? Yeah. Now if I log this, if I print the user, now you guys tell me what is the output here. You see these are the dynamic values, right? Dynamic keys and values. If you want to pass the dynamic keys and values, so I am using like this. You see for the key I am passing this variable name. For the value I am passing this variable name. When I print the user object, what it is going to print here. Guys, can anyone tell me what is the output we will see here? The question to you guys. What is the output we will see here? Please anyone respond.
Uh, Output will come as an object.
Okay. What is the key value we will see here?
Key as a first name and then Shiva.
Okay. You see key as coming as the first name, right? And but you see I have given first name first name. Let's say here what I will do here. You see I am giving f name, right? You see. When I run this, sorry, here I need to give the f name, right? You see whatever the variable name I have given here. But if you see here, when I run this, you see it is printing the f name. Now for the value it is printing this is okay name. But for the key you see, but it is not taking this thing, right? Yeah. So in the JavaScript object, if you want to pass the dynamic keys, right, what you need to do, you need to wrap it in the square bracket. You see now when I run this, you see I got the key, dynamic key and dynamic value. Got it? Make sure when you are passing the dynamic keys and values, but key should be wrapped with the square bracket. You need to remember this thing. Okay, pass the dynamic keys and values. Okay, got it. You see dot notation, square notation, and we can store spaces well also, but we need to access that key using the square bracket notation. Okay, yeah. Now the question is, if you want to traverse the object, right? This is the object, right? I want to traverse the object. To traverse the object, what is the mechanism we need to use in the JavaScript? If we have an array, we will use the for loop, right? But for the object traversing, which mechanism we need to use, right? Yeah, we have a, I think, for in loop to object traversing. You see, we have a for in loop. You see, right? For this is the variable name. You should define either let or const keyword. After that in, but here you need to pass the object. In our case, the object is user, right? You see. For the object traversing, we need to use the for in loop. Now let me print log the key, right? You see, here it will display the keys. You see, here it is having the only first name, right? Let me add uh, one more values. Yeah, city, Chennai. You see, uh, you see the first name, the age, and city. If you want to traverse a object, we need to use the for in loop. But we are getting the keys only, right? But I want to get the value, right? To get the value, we already know, right? We have a dot or we have a square bracket notation. So here, what I will use, you see what is the object name user square bracket of key, right? You see, got it? Now you see, we'll get the values. Okay, got it? If you want to traverse the for loop, oh sorry, traverse the object, we need to use the for in loop. Okay. Any doubts? Any questions here? Dynamic key values passing, object properties accessing key values, deleting the object properties, traversing the object. These are very important because in the LWC development we will use a lot object. We'll use the object, right? You should aware of all these things. Any questions, guys? Here up to here?
No, sir.
Yeah. Anything new found in this session? Already you guys are aware of all these things.
Yes, sir. Delete keyword, traversing object, and
Not only this object concept, we discussed today functions. We discussed a lot, right?
yeah,
That thing
there are
I'm
things to
asking
revise,
about
sir.
because most of the people are they know the LWC and everything, right? JavaScript. So just I want to know anything new things you found in this session, uh, or you guys are already aware of all these things.
Something are revised and some are new.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Got
Shiva, but definitely there is a difference in style of teaching. Like many tutorials are there, but the way you approach the topics clearly makes it easy for us to understand. Thank you so much.
yeah, yeah. Thank you, Abhishek. What about others? Manisha and I need to cover a lot in the JavaScript. Next section I will cover that important concept. Yeah.
Yeah, sir. Almost all are revised, but just this foreign loop, I got the new one in this
Okay.
session. Yeah.
Yeah, because these are very very important. Why I'm telling that? Yeah, because in the real time development in the LWC development, we will use these things. We will use the arrow functions. So you should aware of how to write the arrow function, and we will use the object, right? How we need to create an object, how we need to access the object values, in which scenario we need to use the dot notation, in which scenario we need to use the square bracket notation, and how we need to pass the dynamic keys values to the object dynamically, not right. Yeah, how we need to traverse. I need to discuss a lot more related to the object. I will continue with the next session, continuing with the object, and along with I need to cover map, filter, reduce, array functions, right? Promises, async, await, try, catch, block, rest, spread. So I will cover in the next session. These are all very important for the LWC development. And truthy values, falsy values, very very important. Those things. Okay. And we discussed about the function, right? But most of the LWC developers, they don't know if function immediately invocable, but because in the JavaScript exam, in the LWC interview also, they will asking these kind of questions. What is if function? How many type of functions are available? Can we call the function to another function, right? First class function, anonymous function, function expression, if function. Yeah, we discussed things. Please make a practice on that, on these things. Yeah. If you have any doubts, we have a next session, right? Please ask doubts, clarify your doubts. Yeah. Okay, guys. Yeah. Catch you on next week. Yeah. Maybe Saturday or Sunday, the same time, 9 a.m. So I'm going to cover the remaining topics. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Shiva.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye. Catch you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.